Nakivale refugee settlement is the oldest settlement in Africa and the 8th largest settlement in the world. The settlement is found in southwestern Uganda, Isinjiro district, and has a population of over 120,000 refugees from various countries including Rwanda, Congo, Somalia, Eritrea, and Sudan. Many of these refugees are children who are victims of forced displacement, wars, and human rights abuses. Although education would give hope to the refugee children, there is limited access to quality learning resources in the settlement. The television education, currently used by the Ugandan Ministry of Education to provide access to learning during this COVID-19 crisis, leaves out many learners from poor refugee families that lack access to TV sets and electricity. The state-owned radio station, Radio Uganda, used by the ministry to deliver teaching, has poor to no reception in the settlement. Because of being redundant at home, many refugee girls have already been forced into marriage. Others are carrying unwanted pregnancies, while other girls and boys have been forced into child labor. Keeping such vulnerable learners engaged in education at home is more than an option. To enable continued learning during the COVID-19 crisis, Mbarara University of Science and Technology must, in collaboration with the Swedish Programme for ICT in Developing and Emerging Regions, SPIDER, implemented a remote open learning academy to enable learners and teachers in Nakivale refugee settlement learn mathematics and health science from the comfort of their homes. The academy utilized interactive radio instructions, mobile phone learning using memory cards, and a toll-free line to enable learning and continued feedback beyond the radio sessions, and infographics to graphically represent topics in a way that stimulates visual learning. The radio lessons covered a wide range of topics from mathematics and basic health education. The sessions began with a general discussion of home-based learning that included sharing lived experiences by learners living outside the settlement.
Now we want to know how best can we make it favorable for learning to happen at home. How are you doing it?
Due to my current status as a student, it is quite puzzling when I'm at home and with the obvious distractions, very many distractions. There is the TV, which is pretty much a very great hobby of many people my age. There are other gadgets, maybe phones, maybe tablets. But what I do as a student, it's just to plan your day. I feel like if you could plan your day in a way that you dedicate those 2 hours, that 1 hour when maybe all your favorite programs are not there, or maybe one of your least programs is playing, just read maybe that history book, that science book, that SST book. It could really do something, however small. The sessions also covered COVID-19 prevention in the context of a refugee setting amidst the prevailing socio-economic challenges such as overcrowded households and poverty.
If we look at COVID-19 and the prevention measures that are advocated in the context of Nakivale refugee setting, I have been there because we have been implementing interventions there since 2017 with the help and with the support of the same funder, SPIDER. You know, the socio-economic status is really very low to the extent that it's very possible that some of the households, some of the parents might not necessarily afford, you know, the cost of preventive measures like, you know, buying sanitizers and all that stuff and masks. So what do you think can be done in this particular setting? How can we prevent COVID? How can we make sure that, you know, the prevention measures that are being advocated are adopted within this vulnerable population?
In such a case, there was a campaign some time back about prevention of typhoid. There's a time we're here and we've advocated building or constructing tippy taps. Now, these very same tippy taps are able to help us in this same campaign of preventing COVID-19. You can still use the tippy taps, use our normal soap. The bar soap, the soap that you used to wash your clothes, wash your utensils, is still effective in preventing this virus. Make sure every time you touch surfaces, you wash your hands if you're unable to use a sanitizer. It's still a very effective way of preventing coronavirus.
Using real-life examples in illustrating mathematical concepts made it easier for the learners to learn concepts such as fractions that would otherwise remain abstract to them.
In any expression of fraction, if we have x and y, and we say it is x over y, now it is expressed in a fractional concept.
Mathematics lessons were developed based on the curriculum from the Ugandan Ministry of Education. These lessons cover topics that can easily be applied in real-life situations. An example is a topic on profits and losses.
Loss is when the cost price is more than the selling price. There is what we call the cost price and the selling price. Cost price, that is the price at which someone buys something from a shop.
Over 1,300 otherwise hard-to-reach vulnerable learners from 6 schools have accessed quality learning resources provided by the Academy. The Academy also trained 12 teachers from Nakivale refugee schools in remote teaching skills. The training focused on radio lesson preparation and delivery, and video-based teaching and learning.
So don't rush, read at least twice in case learners are copying notes or questions.
Be able to launch Zoom and then schedule meetings and how you can invite attendees to attend your meeting. Okay?
Our mathematics and health education videos and audios can also be accessed from our open access digital library at ecomast.org. Testimonies from teachers and learners indicate that the Academy has been beneficial in many ways. Teachers did not only utilize the skills gained to actively participate in the delivery of our radio sessions, but also got new income-generating opportunities from related consultancies.
As a teacher who have been presenting on the radio, that program, I have achieved a lot in that program. I was trained on how to run a radio lesson, and through the skills that I got from the training, it was actually wonderful, very fantastic while presenting on the radio. From the experience I got from this program of Mbarara University, other organizations and the government too took interest in me to go and present on other radios. So far, I am presenting on other 2 radio stations, that is Radio West and Rihira Millennium Radio. I am presenting mathematics on Radio West by Window International Uganda under Education Cannot Wait, and on Rihira Millennium Radio, it is the Isinjiro District Local Government funding that program again to teach maths. And through that, me personally, COVID has not affected me at all, because economically I was earning and it was a good score. Looking at what the Mbarara University of Science and Technology together with the Spider program, what they have imparted in me, I wish to thank the program manager, everybody, the funders. Please, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that.
one teacher narrates how she utilized the skills gained from the Academy's teacher training sessions to deliver remote teaching to learners using Zoom social network technology.
My name is Msimenta Safra. I'm a teacher at Nakifari Secondary School. I'm the Director of Studies. I, as the Director of Studies, have benefited much from the training they have offered to me and the school at large. We've learned how to use Zoom, the conferencing, which we have not been knowing before. There is one scenario that I had. There is a parent who contacted me and wanted me to support his children, and I had to use the Zoom, which I learned from Open Learning, and I was able to deliver to them, and they were so thankful. And I'm so appreciative to the organization and feel that it should continue giving us support for the smooth running of teaching and learning, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic.
The integrated nature of our intervention made it possible for learners to access learning resources in a way that enabled continued learning. For example, using graphical notebooks made it possible for the learners to visually follow the radio instructions, while using phone memory cards enabled learners to re-listen to our recorded videos or audios illustrating the radio sessions.
By name of Mtezilizaza David from Senior 1A, a student of Nakiva Secondary School. I pay thanks to Spider for having provided us some of learning materials that are helping us as far as e-learning is concerned. Using such materials like graphical notebooks, listening to radio as we are in this period of lockdown, no attending schools, but just listening from a radio. As I hear from radio, I refer them to the graphical notebook that I am having, and even approaching my memory card using my phone. I insert it in my phone and I hear very well. If I have not understood, maybe that helps me to get more of mathematics.
The use of a toll-free line enabled learners to freely interact with teachers during and after the radio sessions.
I have been interacting with my learners to see some challenges which they can face. So they have been appreciating the program which is conducting on the radio, that is delivering lessons on the radio from teachers. And they have been telling me that it is good to listen, and when they are listening those radios, sometimes they get the challenges, like in asking the questions, but when they gave them the toll-free line, so that if you fail to understand the question or you fail to understand the lesson, it is easy to call. So they have been telling me that they are flexible now. They can ask questions, and the one in charge him or her give the clear information about the question which they have asked.
Despite the benefits, teachers and learners express the need to extend the academy to other classes and other subjects.
I would like still appreciate the Open Learning project and wish if funds would allow they extend to other classes, especially senior 2s, senior 3s and senior 5s who are still in the lockdown and have not benefited much in this project.
I really ask or suggest whether they can extend that program for other subjects like geography, like history, like biology, such that we can understand them. We also be perfect or we do better in such fields.
The Academy appreciates all the project staff and partners, including Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Angels Compassion, Grace Radio, Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Education, as well as parents, learners, teachers, and schools within the Nakivale Refugee Settlement. Last but most importantly, special thanks to Spider for supporting this initiative.